I think I just dumped my boyfriend because he proposed. What now? Original post. Today is my boyfriend's 25 female and my 30 male second anniversary. I don't talk to my parents. I haven't said a word to them since I was 16. I don't want to put the reason here, but it was bad enough that me never speaking to them again could be seen as them getting off lightly. I left home at 16 by marrying my best friend, 25 male. He knew what was happening the whole time and wanted to help me, and it was bad enough that marriage was the best escape plan I had. It was the only way to avoid being dragged back home. I'd tried running away before this. We divorced 5 years later. We were both having issues with student finance, so we needed to go through it as married. I took his surname to avoid being tied to my parents, and my friend and I are still close. He actually set me up with my current boyfriend. My mom contacted me right before Christmas. I deleted my old Facebook and then made a new one back in November and forgot about the privacy settings until Mom messaged. She was asking if she and Dad could see me on Christmas Day. My boyfriend saw the message and asked who it was. I admitted she was my mother. This led to questions, as the only time I'd talked about my parents was to say I don't speak to them. I said that she found me, but I wasn't going to reply. I said I have my reasons, which I'm not ready to tell yet, but I would as soon as I was ready. He said that was good enough for him. I blocked her and moved on. It's been a few months, and I've been trying to tell him, but it's hard. It's like every time I try, I just can't get the words out. And then tonight, on our second anniversary, he proposed, using my Nan's ring, which my parents have. I asked where he got it, and he told me he'd gone to see my parents. He got Mom's name when she messaged me, contacted her, and went to see her within a few days of me getting that message. The whole time knowing that I didn't want to hear from her. He'd asked them for permission to marry me, and they'd given him Nan's ring because Nan always meant for me to have it. I don't know if I actually dumped him. I definitely told him to leave, but I didn't actually break up with him. He's at his sister's place right now and keeps calling and texting me, wanting to know what he did and asking me to call him. His sister, who I'm friends with, is also asking what happened. I knew he was traditional and that he put a lot of stock into family, which is why he was so close with his own family. But he knew I didn't speak to mine and never pried into it. Just took me at my word when I said I'd tell him when I was ready. And when I said that, he said he was patient and could wait as long as I needed. When I was in therapy, my therapist used to make me write stuff down or draw pictures, or basically just put my feelings somewhere to get them out. So that's what I'm doing now. I wasn't even sure I was going to post this, but right now I'm just so lost and I have no idea what I'm doing or where I go from here. I love him, but this is honestly the only thing like this that I've ever asked of him. 6 hours ago, I could see a future here, but now the last few months, this proposal, and any future proposal all feel tainted somehow. I love my Nan, but knowing he asked my parents for permission and knowing how he got Nan's ring just makes me feel sick. Edit. He gave me his reasoning through messages and voicemails. His stance is that there's an importance to the tradition and that family is important. There are mentions of my parents meeting our kids one day and Dad walking me down the aisle at our wedding. He seems to think the whole thing is fixable, and it sounds like they gave him some fake story about them grounding me, so I ran away, or something equally minor on their part and drastic on mine. He's also said that they seemed like nice people, and if he'd gotten a bad feeling when he was messaging my mom, he would never have gone to meet them. From what he said, they asked about me, specifically what I do and my workplace, and he's given them this information, but no means of contacting me directly. I don't know what to do. I need someone to tell me what to do. I need a third party to give me advice, and that would normally be a therapist or something, but it's the middle of the night and I stopped going to therapy years ago, so can someone just please tell me what to do? Put things in perspective? Give me advice? Now for the top advice before reading the update. I think you can give him a very straightforward explanation and request for clarity. You knew that I had no contact with my parents, and that was quite deliberate because of what they did to me when I was growing up. You saw me go out of my way to block my mother, and yet you went behind my back and contacted my abusers. Why did you do that? Why did you think that was okay? I understand that you're very close to your family, but wasn't it really obvious that something awful had happened in mine, and that's why I wasn't in contact with them? Take a long look at his response. If it's more along the lines of, I am so sorry, I just didn't understand, and I will never do this again. Please forgive me. I will do anything to earn back your trust. That might be one thing. But if there's even a hint of, family is important to me, or, but they seemed like nice people, or 10 years is long enough, then it's dumping time. My main worry would be if he didn't get it, that he'd decide that they should meet their grandkids down the line, or organize a surprise party, or come to the wedding. There was an OP like this a couple of years ago, but from the other side, where a guy did something similar and made contact with his wife's family, and his wife basically left him. He was writing and asking how to fix it, because he had a wonderful, very close-knit family, and naively thought that this was something that could be fixed, and that he could fix it. Of course, it's up to you. In the end, your gut will tell you the right response. A number of people here have quite reasonably said that this would be a complete deal-breaker. It was certainly extremely thoughtless of him. I think if you just let him know exactly how badly he screwed up here, then his response to that will tell you whether or not it's worth trying to salvage this relationship. In your heart, can you trust him again? I've looked through his messages and voicemails, and he said all the wrong things. Importance of family, importance of tradition. They seemed like nice people. Dad walking me down the aisle, them meeting their grandkids. It's like he thought of every wrong thing to say and then sent it. I don't know if I should message him. I want to fix things, but these messages aren't exactly instilling confidence. Honestly, I'd probably dump him. It's a topic I'm kind of sensitive about, so I have a zero-tolerance policy with this kind of stuff. But you might think differently. I went no contact with my parents some years ago too, called CPS and went into foster care to escape home, so I think I can relate a bit. He was aware you had no contact and didn't want any. So by reaching out to your parents, he went against your personal life choice and wish. In my opinion, he did kind of invite them back into your life a little bit by exposing this part of your life to them. Depending on your family history, some information he shared could actually be dangerous or life-threatening to you, and at the very least, it's disrespectful. If you want to continue this relationship, he should sincerely apologize and try to make amends. And of course, never disregard your personal family choices like that ever again. How could he not have at the very least considered how dangerous this could be? He says he did consider it, and if he'd gotten a bad feeling when messaging my mother, then he wouldn't have done anything. But he didn't get a bad feeling. What, he's freaking psychic now? Ted Bundy was a real charmer too. My mom was great at pretending to be a wonderful, supportive mother to her tragically mentally ill child, me. In reality, she was horrible. I won't go into details so as not to trigger you, but I wish I could go no contact. This is borderline abusive and completely controlling on his part. Now for the update the next day. So here's where I'm at. I read every comment/PM/chat and decided I had to tell him, if for no other reason than to make sure he knew why I was/am so upset about this. I talked to my ex-husband about it because he was there for the whole thing and watched it happen in real time, and he said he would be there for me and talk if I couldn't. My ex-husband was not happy with my boyfriend to say the least, and told me that my boyfriend had actually asked him what happened about 6 months ago, but my ex-husband had said it was up to me to tell him when I was ready. My boyfriend had said that was fair enough and that he'd wait for me to tell him. My ex-husband hadn't told me any of this because I'd only just asked my boyfriend to move in, and he didn't want to undercut my happiness, which he has apologized for and said he won't do again, as in he won't keep things from me to protect me. So boyfriend comes over. Ex-husband is already there. Boyfriend asks why ex-husband is here. I say I invited him for emotional support when I tell him everything. Boyfriend isn't happy but sits down. I then began to tell him. The first thing I said was what they did in the bluntest language possible, as in, my dad blank and my mom blank. I started to elaborate, when boyfriend interrupts and says something like, they told me you'd lie. Ex-husband tells him to watch how he's speaking to me, and boyfriend says he'll speak to me how he likes, and then tells me that he knew the truth. and implies I should be thanking him for sticking around. The truth appears to be my parents telling him that I was always unstable, refused to see a mental health professional, and eventually they caught me breaking the law. Rather than report me, they grounded me, and I ran away rather than get grounded, all of which is absurd, and I honestly can't believe that he bought it. Ex-husband tells boyfriend, or rather ex-boyfriend, that he has half an hour to pack his stuff and leave, and if he speaks to me at all, his time goes straight to 0. Ex-boyfriend packs his stuffs and leaves silently. So to recap, he knew that 1. I've not spoken to my parents in a decade. 2. I got married at 16 and took my husband's surname to escape/hide from them. 3. It was bad enough that I still have nightmares over it. And 4. I'd tell him when I was ready. Within a few days of hearing point 4, he sought out my parents and asked permission to marry me, based on his own gut feeling about them, because the vibe he got from their texts was a far better judge of character than my 16 years with them. They fed him lies about me, which he bought, and he gave them information which includes my full name, job field, place of work, and possibly the address of our flat. While they have not done anything with this information yet, that I know of, my ex-boyfriend has stayed in touch this whole time. So if he messages them saying I broke up with him, they might decide to pay me a visit now that there's no longer a man in the house. My ex-husband has offered to stay with me temporarily. I don't know if I have grounds for a restraining order, but it might be time to look for a new place. So yeah, sorry for how dramatic this whole thing sounds. I just wanted to post an update because I got a lot of good advice on the first post, and I want to thank everyone who responded. The situation is now resolved, though it isn't exactly the happiest ending and there's still stuff to work out, but this part is over at least. Thanks again. I just don't get the ex-boyfriend. If he believed the parents, why would he stay with her? If I genuinely thought someone would make up lies about their parents being abusive, or mentally unstable and refused psychiatric assistance, I would be out the door so fast. This is me being cynical, but the quick jump to, "You're lucky I even stay with you and you should appreciate it," says it was a matter of time before he became abusive, and this OP dodged a huge bullet. Absolutely. It would have started with him saying how much he thinks they should talk to the parents before the wedding, or worse, just have the parents show up to the wedding. From there, it would be pure triangulation. The 3 of them, plus his parents probably, so 5 of them, against her for everything. I am so glad ex-husband was with her, so the gaslighting ex-boyfriend had already prepared couldn't take hold. Ex-husband sounds like a great person and a really solid friend. Even if the parents had done something so terrible and nightmare-inducing to result in the actions OP took, who the heck looks at their partner, the person they're supposed to love and cherish and apparently wanted to marry, and says, "Yeah, your parents said you would lie." Hello? Max Q's the heck out of me. You want to marry me, but you're favoring your freaking in-laws over me? Bad enough, but adding back the abuse that's implied? Ex-husband would have been helping me clean up a crime scene. What a freaking stain on this earth. I hope his laundry is always a little damp, and he doesn't realize it till it's folded and then all his stuff gets stank and mildewy. Who does this? The same person who turns to a financially and emotionally vulnerable young woman barely out of college, while being 29 himself at the start of relationship. Same dude who also goes behind her back. Last story. My boyfriend hates that I have a permanent bracelet with my 2 best friends, but I don't see the issue. Does anyone have any advice on this situation? Original post, I 25 female got a permanent bracelet with my 2 high school best friends a couple of years ago when we were all in the same city. We all live in different cities now as adults, so we have reunion trips every year or so. I've been with my boyfriend, 28 male, for 5 years now. My boyfriend made his dislike for the idea clear then, but I didn't think too much of it since I was excited and thought the idea was cute. He hadn't said much about it for a while, but I recently made a comment that it had stretched out too much to the point that I could slip it off, so I had to go get it resized. He said, "Or just take it off and never put it back on." I thought he was joking, but he proceeded to go off about how weird it was that I wear it, and how I give my friends too much importance by doing that, and that I never wear anything he gives me every day. I told him I do wear the things he gives me, but this is the only piece I have that I don't ever take off because it's permanent, so I can shower with it and sleep with it without ruining it or losing it. I always lose jewelry, so I tend to wear pieces I care about less frequently so they don't get lost, and cheaper pieces I don't care about as much more often in case I do lose them. I said if he got me something I could sleep and shower in, I would wear it every day. He said it only makes sense to have something on my body every day that is related to my family or him. He said if the roles were reversed, I would also hate it, but that's really not true. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's not like a tattoo or something actually permanent. I took the bracelet off for now, but I really like having it. Does anyone have advice on how to handle this situation? Is it weird to have this bracelet with my friends? I felt really sure that it isn't weird and shouldn't be an issue. But the more I think about it, the more I'm questioning it. Any insight is appreciated. Added for context, it's a thin gold chain that usually sits right on my wrist. No charms or embellishments. The friends are girls. He doesn't mind one of them, but he actively dislikes the other one because of some of her lifestyle choices. Nothing detrimental, he just doesn't agree or support, but that's a whole different convo. The lifestyle choice is that she likes to drink and go out to bars. Nothing about racism or sexuality. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Let's really break this down. You are lucky enough to have two friends from childhood who provide you great support and love you so much. They also want a daily reminder and symbol of the bond now that you're in different places. And this pisses your boyfriend off so badly, he has pushed you to stop wearing it? How long before he has a problem with your annual vacation together? How long before he is policing your calls and texts with them as well? Healthy, secure people don't begrudge their partners having close friendships. I'd argue they should champion and enthusiastically encourage these bonds. If they aren't and there are no underlying toxic or dangerous dynamics, you should be asking yourself why he wants to isolate you so badly and really take a step back and examine where else in your life he is demanding changes and you have acquiesced to keep the peace. A relationship should not require that you surrender all your autonomy. Damn, this goes hard. My best friend since 5 is a girl, and my current girlfriend absolutely hates it. Nothing sexual or outside of friendship stuff has ever happened. It would be like a cousin, which is gross to both of us. But another girl knows you better. Like I'm just supposed to delete 30 plus years of my life for her insecurity. Not to make it about me. OP's boyfriend is being ridiculous. I'm confused as to how this bracelet affects him in any way. It doesn't. He's controlling. And jealous. As soon as I got to the and he asked why I don't wear anything he gives me every day, I said, there it is. Now for the update. We talked about it more today, and I got more insight into why he doesn't like it. He said it isn't classy and is equivalent to having a tattoo in his point of view. He said it cheapens an engagement ring, since I'm already wearing something that connects me to somebody else. He said it's childish and immature, and that if we were married, he wouldn't want me to wear both that and my ring. It would have to be only my ring. The bracelet was on the right hand, FYI. He said he would understand if I bought myself the bracelet, but he doesn't get that it's something 2 other people also have. He said he didn't choose to date them, so why would I want to be like them? He sees the body as very sacred and really considers everything he puts on it, and he would want me to see it the same way. I honestly think he's reaching. Not sure where we go from here, but the implications about why he doesn't like it feel bigger than what I was originally thinking.